it's a physical. What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is our fucking 40. I don't know, a lot of podcasts, and we have Wickham back.
What's up?
And Billy, my two favorite fucking people, OG podcasters, and we were just talking about hearing what it's like to hear your wife getting fucked by another man.
Right.
It's really gnarly. I mean, like, I was in the fetal position all night. Like, but it's a physical thing. It's just physical. Like, I mean, if you're confident in the relationship you have, like, I want to have fun. She, you know, it spices things up. It really hyped up our. I just thought about if, like, my parents listen to that. That's where it gets dicey.
Do your parents know that?
I don't know. I can't filter myself. I just want, if I'm going to go for, like, honesty and, like, transparency, then I have to go all the way.
Does she care that you're saying this?
No, not really.
Can I turn this one down at all? Is that a possibility?
Yeah.
Because that's going to bust my eardrums out.
Yeah, you also have to put that all the way over there. But yeah, so but it really, like, escalated it, like, brought us together in a lot of ways. Like, it was really, like, it heightened the sex. I mean, you know, when you've been together for 15 years, like, and then you, like, have something like that, shake it up. It was like we were getting down in the bathroom in between her clients. It just felt like we were, like, back in it, you know. And I just saw her in this different way. Like, I was really, like, into her. Like, have you ever thought, like, how it would kind of turn you on, like, a little bit to see your chick getting, like, it's really scary to think about.
Cuckold fantasies.
It's really,
that's what those are. Yeah, that's a category on porn sites.
Right. Yeah, it's really scary to think about, but there is something sexual about it, and it's something that turns you on.
It's like some caveman shit. Some, like,
yeah, it's just like, ooh, like, yeah, you're jealous, or she's being desired by someone else, and that makes you desire her even more. And if you have strength and honesty, and, like, if you have a strong relationship and you have confidence. I don't know. Ari talks about this on a few
Would you ever do it again or explore that again?
I mean, I pretty much have to at this point.
You have to?
Did you know that chick Lux?
Oh, yeah, Luxy Boo, right?
So Veronica's going to, like, pay her to fuck me.
Whoa. That's like a birthday present?
Yeah, because she's, like, a professional.
Oh.
Like, that's what Veronica just told me the other day.
Wow.
And I'm, like, scared.
Wait, is Veronica going to be there?
She just thinks that I need, like, because the whole situation that happened with us and this other couple was kind of traumatic. It didn't work out.
I was there.
I know, this guy was.
Yeah, so
I was sleeping on that couch.
If you're going to talk about it, you should probably explain it a little bit, because it wasn't all, you know, good and fine.
Oh, no,
it was a terrible experience that turned good because you worked through it, but.
He knows.
That was some rough shit.
He knows, because this is my sponsor. Did you know that? Yeah, I mean, he
It's your grand
knows
sponsor.
just because.
Yeah.
I called you, and you were the person that I was talking to when I was going through that. I mean, I wasn't really even, like, talking about it with anyone else. But it was super painful.
I mean, I haven't seen you that fucked up. Probably since maybe when we first started working together.
Whoa.
It's funny how I feel like he's more aware of how fucked up I am than, like, I am.
Right.
Or anyone else, because I just feel like this last couple weeks have been, I guess they weren't that bad. You're right. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad after the incident that we had on this podcast.
So what's going on with Lux? What's the story with that?
Well, just before we get into all that, I just want to say that this is the first podcast that we're doing with Billy since the CBD thing, and also Wickham was, like, my co-host for like a year on this podcast, and then he kind of like went a little crazy and then like just like disappeared from my life and then came back into it. So it's kind of cool to have them both on the podcast because they both understand this podcast, I think, better than anyone else, any other people. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's good to be here. It's a vibe.
Yeah. Maybe I'm going too hard.
Just go, whatever.
Okay, I just
With what?
I'm like, I don't know. I'm just now being more conscious. But yeah, I'm just talking about my life and my experience. And it's like, you know, if somebody out there wants to judge me and my life and what I've done, then that's on them, you know, because I feel like these are issues that married couples deal with, especially after having a long time being married. And if you're attracted to other women, which all men are, I think it's important to talk about that with your wife and explore that with your wife. And I think it's important for couples to be able to be honest with each other. Like one thing I talk about a lot is about like how people, when they get married, they say, "Oh, you're my best friend," and like I'm calling bullshit, because you tell your best friend you want to fuck this Instagram chick. Yeah, you do.
Right.
So if you can't tell your wife that, then she's not your best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it takes a lot of like unlearning our society's standards and what our society has like taught us. You have to kind of unlearn that and relearn something new, which is like honesty at like the highest level. And I think having an understanding of like, oh, we're lustful beings and we're sexual beings, and like we're going to feel attracted to the opposite sex no matter whether we're married or not. Like just recognizing that truth, it makes it a lot easier to have these conversations with your wife. But no, she sees a therapist. We see a therapist. We've seen this woman together who she's kind of like a threesome therapist.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
interesting.
She like she helps couples like explore other sexual outlets.
Okay.
And she's now starting to see this woman on her own. And I mean, I think that the truth is that she wants to like play around a little.
That's cool.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like,
Oh, she wants to play around.
well, like with girls at first,
okay,
and like
okay.
get me back, and like she's attracted to other chicks. Like
Right.
that's the cool.
So
thing.
does that like
That's fine.
That's fine.
It's the dude
dudes,
part.
right.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's always going to be hard for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like sometimes I'm like more okay with it than other times. Like, but it's just hearing.
Would you rather have it be someone you know or you don't know?
I don't know. It's just hearing her moan.
Right.
It's the hardest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she's kind of dragging you down this road.
Kind of.
So
again,
he's kind of like the kind of trepidatious one. Like
I'm a scared, insecure, sensitive alcoholic. Let's just be real.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And when I was in
The
a
roles are
band,
reversed.
I'm gonna get really real right now. When I was in a band on tour, like I had some opportunities to fuck some hot chicks, and I couldn't even get hard.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Because I'm supposed to be this like rock star, and we come back to the hotel and I'm dead sober, and they're fucking wasted, and I don't even know who they are. They don't talk. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll eat you out. And then I'm eating them out, and then I'm like, fuck, like what's wrong with you? Like, look at this chick, dude. She's so fucking
Right.
hot. And then I'm like, God damn it, like what the fuck? And it's like my worst nightmare is coming true in a hotel room in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. And then I just sleep next to her. I mean, I could never go to sleep because I'm just sitting there looking at her ass after she passed out thinking I really want to hit that. And I can't. What the fuck? And then she finally leaves at like 6 a.m. and I like watch some porn and just like, I'm just miserable.
Right.
And I have to get on a flight the next day and it's just like.
Was it just because she was wasted
my
and you were
life.
sober?
Well, because once it becomes a thing in your head, you're fucked.
Once what? Because
Once you're like afraid that you're not going to be able to like perform,
then you
it's
start
just
psyching
like,
yourself out
oh,
and shit.
It's
Right.
like it's like the worst. It's
Yeah.
like you're not even like, And that was happening with this other couple, just to kind of.
Right. So that's going to be a theme probably you're going to have to deal with. What
Yeah.
if, I mean, even on your birthday, what if the same thing happens?
On my birthday.
You said you're going to get this chick for your birthday.
You said it was for my birthday. Did you talk to Veronica about that?
No, I literally just
thought
asked
you
you.
said
I literally
that.
just asked you 10 minutes ago. Oh, for your birthday, and you were like, yeah.
Oh, I didn't understand the question. It's not for my birthday. It's just for like to help me get over. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I hit that, but like it was like awkward.
Right.
Like I needed
It was
to
hard
like
for you.
get warmed up with V, and yeah, I think I am going a little
So
too hard.
let me ask you this. Oh, you're going too
It's
hard?
fine.
Because I was about to ask you some
No,
more-
let's go. 'Cause
No,
that's the thing is people don't even really listen to this
So,
podcast.
you know, what is she thinking? I mean, is she going to do 2-on-1, 1-on-2?
All of
Are
it.
you down with all that? Are you down with two dudes doing your life?
I think this is the truth is if I'm like treated and confident and we're good and I'm not like succumbing to any of my like character defects and my like that bullshit, then yeah, that shit would be like hot as fuck. I'd probably want her to be like sucking my dick for some reason. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could be fucking her while she's sucking someone else's dick.
Yeah, because
I feel like that's
that
like
is
harder,
it's a different
right?
thing.
Like,
Yeah,
literally-
I agree.
Like
I'm
I
with you.
literally told her that. I'm like, I feel like that's something that's somewhere I like could. I feel like I could get there at some point. I mean, I feel like right now I feel like I could because tonight's I feel good. I'm like in a good place right now, right? But like a week or two ago when she brought it up to me, like I wasn't in such a good place and there was a lot of fear and I was like kind of scared.
Yeah, I don't think that could work for most people. But maybe in your case,
I don't
it
think
could.
I don't think a lot of things that I do would work for most people. I think I have a unique ability to like be extra vulnerable and honest and like have people see my flaws, and for whatever reason, like I at a very early age I was in a body cast and my dad's always put me in weird situations, and he's a weird dude, and I just feel like for whatever reason I'm able to like do certain things, but I also have other things that are weaknesses, you know, and
Yeah, but I mean, the level of trust.
I don't really think it's that crazy. Like, do you want to, like everyone in this room wants to fuck.
Yeah.
What's that Victoria's Secret's model's names?
I would say everybody.
Okay, Emily Ratajkowski, okay? We all want to fuck Emily Ratajkowski. I mean, it's crazy.
I don't even know who that is, but
Trust me, but you want to fuck her.
You want to fuck
I
her.
do.
Okay.
So why would we like ignore that? Why would we hide that from the person we love that we want to share the rest of our life with, right? So we want that. So why would it be so hard for me to understand that she also would enjoy that?
No, I mean that's.
If I deprive her of that, I think actually I'm more likely to lose her.
Maybe.
Yeah, because you can't just deprive people of their basic needs and expect them to.
Well,
I think that's the reason
it's
most people are getting
complicated.
divorced.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated. I mean, look, here's the thing is I definitely am not saying people should do this because the level of pain that I experienced was crazy.
That's what I've heard
And
from
I'm
multiple
definitely afraid to do it again. I'm just saying that for me in the specific situation that I'm in, it made our relationship better. And I think trauma and things that appear to be bad at first
people. Brought you closer together.
are always good in the end.
That's good.
I
Well,
feel
and
like-
you guys just have a strong relationship in general too. You know.
Yeah.
And Veronica's a certain kind of girl. I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Definitely not like every girl. I'm just
You just turned him, Billy, all the way up.
Oh wait, Billy, can you hear the mic now?
Yeah.
I don't know what that does. Because I'm like really like my voice like almost like doesn't sound right for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, but it looks pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Wickham's back. I've been having to like pretty much do this.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I've been watching this, like, I've had to figure it out by myself.
Right.
But yeah, because we were just talking, because, you know, Wickham and Jordan, my new sponsees here in the back, they just are dealing with some breakups, and the topic came up of, like, you know.
Yeah. How did that come up?
Well, because there were some texts that I read, but, like, you know, basically when you break up.
Oh yeah, his girlfriend.
Do you mind if I say
his
what
ex.
happened? Yeah, so Jordan, my sponsee's girlfriend, he just broke up with her, and she's texting him like fucking novels, to quote what Jordan said. And he just showed me, and I just read one of the texts that said, like, this feels like shady, like, which is just like, yeah, I get, like, where, like, what's going on. But then she said, like, what is it? Like, do you want to fuck other girls? And I just was walking out of the bathroom thinking about that text, thinking, like, was she saying that to try to, like, mend the relationship? Like, I'm down to let you if we can stay together.
I feel like she was just on some, like, jealous
she's just
ex shit. Yeah, on some insecure shit.
And, you know, everyone's really insecure, and I think that that's the one thing that Veronica has that most girls don't have, is that for some fucking reason she just doesn't have that, like, insecure, jealous, vindictive, like, thing going on. Like, I don't know why, but because of that, like, she, like, me being with another chick, like, that just turns her on.
Huh.
I
know.
But, like, I mean, look, I think that she could get to, like, but me enjoying a movie with another chick and having a real connection with another
would that
chick,
get her
that might threaten her. That would threaten her.
Interesting.
Right? Me, like, creating art with another chick and, like, having a connection, like, that could probably...
Has she ever brought any of that up?
And for me, like, having another dude, like, with a little bit of a bigger dick than mine, like, getting her off a little bit better than me is, like, really fucked up for me. How hard is that? It's so hard. But it's just I think we put too much on the sex thing.
Well, I think guys do specifically.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah, the ego. Ego will get you.
Dude, I couldn't even imagine that. Some fucking well-hung dude just fucking the shit out of her, and she's, like, getting off way better.
Dude, that sounds like torture.
Well, let me just keep it even more real. Dude was a friend of mine, and he's super hung, and I was like fucked up.
And now you can't unknow that he's hung.
No, I was like, damn, dog, like, you're just, like, a little bigger than me, and that sucks.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we just put so much on that shit, and it's like, so what, dude?
Girls don't even
It's
care
the
as much
size
as we
of
do.
some, like, thing in between our legs that's made to, like, make babies. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to, like, be happy in my life and, like, make dope films and, like, help people, like, not fucking die.
Right.
Like, that's what's, like, this
Well, then
fucking...
we should probably not be talking about sex, because that's a whole fucking other thing.
No, we shouldn't. And I think that's where I wanted to make the transition, was, like, this is something that's not... I think we put too much on it, though. And I think it's the cause of so many, like, breakups and insecurities and so much pain when it... I don't know. I just am trying to look at it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
But-
crazy that you got through that sober. You stayed sober. And, you know,
Pretty crazy, man.
recovery right there.
Can you pass me that LaCroix? So I was just recently watching this Gabriel Fernandez documentary on Netflix, where this kid dies of abuse and torture, and he was locked in a little, like, cabinet, and that they would, like, shoot BBs at him. His mom, you know, gave him away at birth, but then she got him back when he was, like, 7 for welfare.
Yeah.
Just to get the paycheck. And, you know, watching something like that just puts it all into perspective.
Right. Your problem doesn't seem as gnarly.
And that's why I like to watch that stuff, not because I don't feel horrible for the child, but because I'm like, wow, like, I should really just be focusing more on, like, helping others and just being aware of the level of pain that there is out there. And that I'm just so lucky for so many reasons. And like, I don't know, it helps me just to be like more selfless, you know?
That's why I love being back in the program, is like the perspective shift and everything that they do, of like from gratitude and everything, like what you're saying. It like, if I don't hear that, if I don't go to meetings where people are constantly talking about gratitude and perspective change and the problems in your head, I'm just going to sink deeper into my own head and let the bullshit just take over, you know?
And you fucking did.
Yeah, and I did for a while, for a good, I left AA for like a year.
Really? Was it that long?
It's a year. Yeah, it's been a year. Yeah.
So what did you do in that year? Like what kind of drugs?
I did cocaine, shrooms, Adderall, lots of Adderall, alcohol, weed.
You left your pills here. You even remember that? You like left his pills here one night, and Veronica found them, and like,
Yeah,
was
well,
like,
no,
this
I told-
fool's, like,
No,
I didn't even bring it up. It's like whatever, dog. Like,
well, those are prescribed to me.
right, but they were like in a bottle. Like,
They're in a pill splitter.
I feel like one of them was like, I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, by the end of it.
Let me ask you a few questions.
Yes.
So how long was it good for?
Oh, okay. It was good for about 4 months,
Really?
maybe
4
a little
months?
bit less, maybe 3 months. It was fun, and then it became, that was the fun stage. And then after that 3 months, it was the fun with problems stage, and that lasted for like 5 months. And then by the end of that, it was just fucking problems. But yeah, it was good. It was good for like, it was fun for like three months. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm not an alcoholic. This is great.
Yeah.
Were you controlling it? Like you weren't doing it all the time or...
Yeah, I wasn't doing it all the time. I was just doing it on weekends, classic stuff like, oh, I'm just going to drink beer, or I'm just going to, well, I think honestly, like when you go out, there is this like idea of like, I don't want to be that alcoholic who just fucking, as soon as they go out, wilding out. So like, I feel like I had reservations, and I wanted to like prove to myself that I wasn't an alcoholic. So I didn't go that hard for the first. I would just drink beers.
You're smart.
So that
Did you-
too smart. Because if I drank beers and didn't fuck up my life, then I was an alcoholic. And if I could do that, then I could drink and get fucked up the way I wanted to.
So what do you think? Do you really think you're an alcoholic now?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind, which is crazy because
No doubt.
Well, there is doubt. There's always going to be doubt because of the nature of the disease. But
No, there's no doubt in my mind that I am. So I don't know. There always has to be doubt. Maybe a little bit. Because that CBD fucked me up a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. But bro, like, let's be real. Like, the fact that the CBD fucked you up as bad as it did, meaning like not how high you got, but like the fact that you've been thinking about it as much as you have been,
Means I'm an addict.
yeah, that should be a,
Plus, I can be sober and be a porn addict or a sex addict or a nicotine addict or
Yeah.
everything.
So
Anything that feels good, I'm a fucking addict.
so let me
Right.
just help you clarify the fact that there's two ways of looking at it. And for me, when I was prescribed the Norcos or the Oxy and the Thought Life, for me, after having gone through that experience, it wasn't easy afterwards, but it was definitely like more evidence.
I remember that, yeah.
So I mean, I think that if you can find it,
I just fucking, it feels so good to I love drugs. I love being high. I still do.
it was funny because
so can you use that as more reinforcement that you are an alcoholic?
I'm such a fucking drug addict.
Right. Okay. So there's no doubt. And if anything, that experience made it more clear to you. And your mind is just trying to find some fucking slippery way out of
it's
it.
always a lot more complicated. It's like, well, I haven't done it in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, but
I mean,
all you're doing is thinking
it's all,
about it.
yeah, so it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I know.
That's your disease.
Sorry
Yeah.
No, yeah, we were talking the other day, and it was funny because we were on opposite ends. I was like,
that's why it's good to hear from somebody who's been. What did you reconnaissance? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, there's a guy in my home group. He called it doing reconnaissance. Like, there's guys who go out there and doing just to come back and tell everyone else it fucking blows still.
Yeah,
And,
you didn't just do it so you could tell some cool stories. Like, you really went out there and fucking did that recon. Like, you really, like, you were like telling me, like, bro, like, I'm not an alcoholic, dude. And I was like convinced.
Right.
Like, you weren't trying to just like go out and like be cool for a minute and so you could come back and be like, I did recon. Like, you were really trying to like make it work.
Yeah, it totally was. And
so did it get to where you weren't able to control it at some point?
yeah, I couldn't stop, dude. I had to either be high or drunk every day. And to see where my rock bottom isn't. Well, I did go to a psych ward. Like, that wasn't even my rock bottom though, which is fucked up. Like, I kept drinking and using after the psych ward, after I got 5150. So like I went straight back to it. I think afterward, my family was like, maybe you should lay off some stuff after you get out. And I got like 1 day and a half. So fucking hard. And then I just back to everything instantly. And what was your question?
I think you answered it.
Right.
I think one of the things for me that helps me understand like what you were dealing with was the fact that you were like drinking whiskey alone.
Right.
Because that's like, I don't know why, but I can just like, I understand what that must have been like.
Oh, right. The rock bottom.
Who drinks like whiskey alone? Like,
yeah,
good
that's
to me,
because for me, it's like,
alcoholics, but I'm saying like,
yeah,
like
real quick though.
What? Oh yeah. What?
I think I can drink whiskey and then go operate fucking skill saws.
Yeah. It's
and
well, see, for me, I like to take pills and do that stuff.
well, the reason I was drinking whiskey is because I was like, maybe I'm just a drug addict.
Yes,
I was like,
that's where I was.
That's
going.
when I was like, okay, stop the weed, stop the pills, stop
Okay.
everything, stop the coke, and then maybe, you know. But then I was just drinking whiskey, and then my rock bottom. It was the same rock bottom that I got into when I was 17 and when I went to rehab. It was an existential rock bottom, right? It was like, life doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. I don't matter. There's no point of like living another day without the conviction to actually go through with killing myself. And also, since I went to the psych ward, I'm banned from buying a gun for 5 years. So if I wanted to do it, the routes I'd have to go to would be really fucking gnar.
That's good.
And there's a huge risk that I would just come out just handicapped and not dead. Right. So like, I was like, fuck, man. Like, that's my rock bottom. It's not the institution. It's not the rehabs or the psych ward or, you know, it was this.
Yeah, no, I remember mine was existential too. I remember I felt like I was miles thick and there was just like a wind, like I was a desert inside and there was a wind blowing through me. And I was on speed. And that's the last time I got high. Like an inner death or something.
Inner death.
Yeah.
That's a good way to phrase it.
Yeah.
And that it's kind of, it's fucked up because nobody else knows. Like, it's hard to explain to anybody, like a normie at least, like, this is how I feel inside, you know. And you come to AA and everybody talks about it.
They don't know what you're talking about.
They don't know what the fuck you're dealing with. And if you try to be honest with them for like a second,
they just don't, because they think you're crazy, right?
You can't.
And maybe you are crazy.
Yeah, and then once you go to the psych ward, like, you lose all credibility because people are just like, yeah, now you're actually fucking crazy, you know? So that's when I knew. But now I'm back. I got what, three days. And last night was really hard. I wanted to fucking set it back to 0 last night.
3 days, and how much time do you have?
71.
Are you still jonesing, or are you?
That's lifted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I took about 35, 40 days.
You want to just chill right here?
You can talk for a while.
Well, why doesn't
gotta
he
take a
just
seat.
let's just have him sit down next to
Yeah.
you, and if he wants to talk, he can just kind of look over at the mic.
Good
and-
promising.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we got two like newbies here. Wickham's had time, but Jordan is found me on Instagram, and we're doing some step work together and sponsoring him. It's really, really cool. I'm so glad. But yeah, you can just talk right into the mic.
You can put on the headphones too.
How much? You said
71, yeah.
71. And you were saying that the obsession has been lifted.
Yeah, 35, 40 days. About. I mean, that's
Oh,
rough.
I'm
guesstimate.
waiting. I'm counting the days till it goes away.
I prayed for it every day. I asked God to lift the obsession. I asked God to lift the obsession every day
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
until I didn't.
See, I haven't
obsess.
tried that. I didn't ask God to lift the obsession.
I didn't believe it. Oh, I didn't. I'll
Why
fuck
didn't I
that.
think of this?
Like,
Pretty
let me
simple.
pray to let me pray to God.
You're like not doing the one thing we talked
Well,
about.
I did
doing.
pray to God, but I didn't say to lift the obsession.
You just need to ask.
I just asked for help. I was like, just fucking help. Just help me not take a swig right now.
That's perfect.
You know?
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know?
However you phrase it is
Right.
is whatever works for you.
Right.
I just prayed for it constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Did you get on your knees?
Yeah. In the mornings, yeah.
I know
Still
that.
to this day.
need to
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
dope. I actually was just thinking about that this morning. Like every once in a while, I'll go in the closet and I'll just get on my knees and I'll put my head on the ground like a humble ass bitch
That's dope.
before God, and I'll just be like, whatever. I mean, I just got a text from Tim like talking about like we're like things are tough right now because of this coronavirus.
Right.
And I just went, I literally just saw that text and my whole like energy just shifted. But like, what? Tim just texted me like, we might have to like, I don't know what we're going to do. We might have to like cut back on, like we might have to like give Noah and Valerie like a month off. Like it's scary, this coronavirus.
When I think about the virus, I think more about the financial, like the collapse of society kind of thing. That could
Yeah,
go
the
down.
economy's
Well,
taking a
I'm-
shitter.
Like, will I even be able to go to work? Will they want a stranger in their house? You know, 'cause
We're like really feeling it right now. So, but with God, anything is possible. Like with God, I'm like, oh, like, you know what? Like there is a reason for this. I just can't see it right now.
I personally don't feel like super threatened by it. Like, I don't know if I'm crazy or like,
No.
if I
But
should.
what we're saying is like the money thing. Like it is a big deal. Like a lot,
money.
a lot of
Okay.
companies are struggling, and like Coachella I mean, could you imagine the Coachella people?
Right. They have to pay all the artists still.
I mean, we're not like a really big company, but we're like hurting because of it.
yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
But I mean, you know, I think the one thing that makes me feel a little bit better about it is the fact that like, you know, we're not going to like lose good people because they're not going to be able to just go to some other company because the other companies are hurting too.
Right.
And like, I'm just really lucky that I have support. It's not like we're going to have to move out of our office.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to lose our equipment. Like we own.
I know. There's companies that will have to do that shit.
Yeah, like we're in such a good place because of the nature of like whatever we're just gonna be okay no matter what, and I just need to know that and just be grateful for that. And
What did Chris say the other night?
oh yeah, God's always
Oh yeah, he was like, it's going to work out. It's never proven not to.
yeah.
I was
Has it ever not worked out?
not yet.
But we
Right?
still, I mean, you're like, dude, you've had 50 years of it like working out. So why would it all of a sudden not work out eventually? I mean, obviously we've had ups and downs, but like it always works out.
It is what it is.
But what I'm saying is like we're all here and we're okay.
Yep.
And that's God like proving to us that like
Okay, I mean, he's got a fuse back, and I have veneers, but yeah.
a fuse back.
Yeah, my back, my spine is fused.
Yeah, my back is hurting right now too. It's weird. I know. Well, it's easy for us to find the negative,
Yeah.
but you know, if we were in prison,
No, you're right, dude.
It'd be a
always
lot
is,
harder.
and it's just the craziest, weirdest concept because I should have been dead many times over.
yeah.
You know, like I said, drowned, guns to my head, motorcycle accidents, all before I was even like 10 years old.
Whoa.
And
Well, can you like expand on that a little bit? It just like at least like maybe just like a little bit closer to the mic. He's like 5 feet away.
guns to my head.
Like,
I
before
used
you
to
were
rob.
10?
Okay,
Oh,
my mom was a criminal, and so was her boyfriend, and so it wasn't like you would think in the
He doesn't need
movies.
'em. You can just chill.
But yeah, she would steal shit. She
Oh,
would do
right.
fraud. She had aliases. She would get guys to steal things for her, and we would go down alleys at night and take shit from people's houses and their backyards and stuff. And one time we got caught taking firewood, but we were living in Chico, California, and there's kind of Hickey up there. It was a small town. And they came out with shotguns, and their kids they made us lay on the ground, you know, with our hands back. And I don't know, maybe it was 8. I don't know how old I was.
Why were you
But
even
their
with
kids
her?
were holding shotguns, and that was the scary part because there was 2 adults and there was like 3 kids, and they had shotguns to our heads.
And the kids could just like accidentally.
That's what freaked me out is these kids had guns
Right.
at my head.
And that you thought they would like just accidentally
Or,
shoot.
yeah, do something stupid because they're a kid, right?
Wow.
And yeah.
So why
And,
were you?
I've been kidnapped. I could tell, like, at some time we should just go through and just do some history stories.
Well,
and
right
stuff.
now I'm just curious because, I mean, I feel like you know you've obviously told us your story. I think in a general way, but I never heard about that particular story, and I'm just curious why you would even be there. An 8-year-old kid seems like they would slow me down more than help me steal shit.
I think it was a lifestyle. You know,
So you were just like with her. It was just you and her
and her boyfriend.
and her boyfriend.
And this boyfriend, he had like 12 motorcycles, everything from those Harleys with the springs, the old ones. And we used to go, this was a lot of fun. He used to put me on the gas tank, and he had this old Triumph Enduro, and we would go chasing back jackrabbits through the orchards because it was the country. And it was a lot of fun, dude. We did hiking and exploring and robbing and stealing, and, you know, it was great, but it's one night he was pissed off or something, and he took me, and we crashed on the highway. This was before there was helmet laws. We crashed on the highway, I don't know, doing 40 or 50 miles an hour, and so I'm a little kid, and I'm sliding across the freeway on my face, and cars are swerving around my head. You know,
Whoa.
like these big, I remember seeing this big Jeep with the big tires all jacked up, just right around my head. And I think that's why I got veneers, you know, and you can look at my face and you can see that from that was like I was a little kid. So that's one instance where, you know, I could have died.
What's veneers?
It's an inner ear thing where I have all this pressure in my ear all the time, like there's a marble stuck in there or something, and I get vertigo. And it can be so bad I can't even walk.
It's called veneer.
Or it can be
veneers.
mild,
Veneers.
you know. But it's just fucked up. Yeah. So
Do you have any questions for Jordan or Wickham?
well, yeah. I mean, I do because it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that you're only 2 days out. So if you really wanted to, you could do some pills, some narcos. Is that what you call them? Or
Right.
you could smoke some pot or something. And man,
Yeah.
it just sounds so good to just check out. To me,
Yeah.
But it's odd because you're like, fuck that. I don't want to do that shit anymore. And you're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
So it's, and you as well. I mean, you're only a couple months out of it.
I feel like they just stop working after a while. Like,
My bottom got bad.
Let's
All right, let's hear about your bottom.
My bottom got bad. Like my addiction brings me to cars being repossessed, me beating up tow truck drivers, getting arrested, manipulating the sheriff that I'm such an addict that I have serious spine issues, which is legitimate. So then they have to take me to Ventura, whatever, to get medically cleared, and then they OR me in the hospital, which is released on your own recognizance. And then my addiction, my bottom, took me to living out of an auto shop, taking fucking whores baths out of fucking storage containers.
what's a whore's bath?
Just, you know what a bird bath
Oh,
is?
okay.
Having to heat the water up on a fucking camping kettle. Did you just rip ass?
Yeah, but wait,
Nice.
I don't understand. What whore's bath?
Yeah, so like back in the day, like in
That's
cowboy
how
days.
you were like washing. Wait, where you weren't? You didn't have a place to stay. You were
No, yeah, it got that bad.
So what were you doing? You wake up and then what did that day look like?
Trying to survive. I lost everything. I lost all my
With
jobs.
like just your daughter just on your mind all the time.
And I wasn't even able to be a dad. And it had got to the point where my ex knew it was I couldn't be a dad,
Yeah.
which was a whole other bottom. If you're a father, you know what I'm fucking talking about. If you can't be there for your kid,
So many things I take for granted because I have a good relationship with my daughter. I see her every day, but I haven't experienced not being there.
But Billy's just saying how he, hearing Jordan's story about, not being able to show up for his daughter, it's helping Billy realize that you forget. Like,
The gifts until you don't have them.
yeah, he's saying
I couldn't though. I wasn't able to be there for her, which was good that my ex was able to be there for her because I was unavailable as a father. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
I couldn't have her for that month.
Mm-hmm.
I was not able to be a father.
It was only a month.
Yeah, where it got bad.
Yeah.
It was for about a month.
And
Yeah.
was that recently?
Yes, I mean,
Right before you got sober.
right before I got sober, yeah.
So in this little bit of time you've been sober, now you're working and you're joined a company with somebody and all this.
Literally within 71 days, my life is 180'd.
Right. It's fast.
And within a week, I know if I want to go think I'm cool and can fucking go hang out with the coke dealers and run with the fucking gangsters because I think I'm a fucking badass when actually I'm just a little scared little bitch. I, in a blink of an eye, will lose fucking everything.
Right.
I just know that's what will happen. And I don't want to do that. It got to a point for me where I became tired.
Were you like gambling or you just blew it all on drugs or what?
Drugs, fucking hookers, fucking traveling,
You just got
lavish dinners,
You're so
fucking
reckless.
just dumb,
Yeah.
like just not being smart, being greedy, not managing time well, losing clients, taking on too much, just so many things just led me to that fucking bottom. And it got dark. Like I did want to kill myself at that point.
Yeah, it's weird. Like Billy was just saying, like how like I'm feeling it right now, because Tim just texted me like some fucked up shit, like and I'm just like, the current problem at hand, whatever it is, it just seems like the only thing that's real, and you just forget about all the other good things.
Right.
But if I was like I mean, like Veronica's gone right now. Like, what if she like was in New York and like, because she like doesn't want to like be with me? Or what if like, you know, what if this dog just died right earlier today? Or what if like I didn't have like, what if my dad, I mean, there's just so many things that could be so much worse than what it is right now. Like, I remember when my friend Dane had cancer, the dude who wrote the song that this podcast is based on, he like was, I mean, it was crazy. He was just dying slowly. And it was like, it just like every moment I was with him, it was like, that's what it took for me to see what my life actually was. And like right now I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm like hearing, but I'm not really like feeling the gratitude.
Yeah, because you just got a text that just fucked you up.
Yeah. But I'm like wanting to try to get there, because I don't want to like stop talking on the podcast and then just be miserable and worried all night.
Well, my grand sponsor, I remember I used to have like debates with him about God. And I was like, how can there be a God when there's like kids dying in like Africa, or like there's people dying of the coronavirus in Italy, or there's like hunger, starvation. Like, if you ever been to like a third world country, it's really hard to be like, there's a God when you like go to like a third world country, you know? And he said, you know, with like atomic bombs and like disease and all this stuff, like humanity is still here. Like, how could there not be a God? Like, how have we not completely killed ourselves at this point? And I thought that was like a really brand new perspective that I never thought about.
I mean, we just can't try to like even make sense of it. Actually, what's crazy is the third world countries are the ones that believe in God the most.
Right.
Because they don't have like these distractions. That's
Yeah.
an interesting thing that we talk about a lot with like Jason and Victoria, because
Yeah, and in some ways, like when I was in Mexico, is that a third world country? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
a middle world country, I guess.
yeah, but I mean, dude, the level of poverty over there is like nothing we even can imagine here. So yeah, I think that's a good example.
But
Yeah, it's really
What happened in Mexico?
dude, the people were so much happier. Okay, and this may be white boy perspective, but I went over there, and then I was there for quite a while, 3 weeks or so. When the minute I got back here and got to the airport, I just saw people like impatient with scowls on their face. They had this demeanor of like a whole different vibe. Like, they didn't have a lot of money, but the families stuck together because they needed to, because they all needed to pitch in. And
Right. They're all closer together too. The families are more tight.
yeah, even I was holding this little baby that I started to get like didn't like me for a while, and then it finally started to like me, and I don't know. It's just it's so different. I don't know that this is better.
No. It's just so hard.
I don't know
because
that they're thinking about killing themselves and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
it's just crazy.
The U.S. has the highest rate of suicide.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Well, that's like why what Wickham was saying earlier about needing to be reminded of the shit we constantly get reminded of in the rooms is like, it's the only way for me to like stay sane,
Right.
Yeah.
because I just keep forgetting it.
Yeah. I'll forget that shit tomorrow.
Yeah, I just think it's also part of like, so what is it about like, and even also in like the Bible, it talks about like having like the rich guy like doesn't, like, it's for the poor in spirit are the ones that get graced because
Because they don't have shit, so
Right.
they have nothing between them and God.
and also those things can be like a really crazy distraction and like a false sense of happiness,
That's so
a
true.
false sense of attachment.
You think you're good,
Yeah,
but you're
because-
actually not.
So when you
That's
don't,
dangerous.
Yeah. So when you don't have things to be attached to, you don't have that. Like right now, I'm attached to like this idea of like the company and what it is. I'm attached to like having it a certain way, and now I feel like shit because I might lose that. I mean, in a general way, that's what I'm worrying about right now because of this coronavirus. But before I had it, I was like fine. I was like happy. So it's like, how do we like find a way to not care about those things and just to have faith?
Well, it's extreme. It's extreme. No identity, no self, no fear. It's only this 24 hours. There is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What were you saying in your share today about your 24 hours you had? And
Oh, that chick who shared, Sam, she always shares that, and I've adopted it because it just makes it easier, and it says it right in the literature. We have 24-hour reprieve contingent upon a spiritual maintenance, and that's all we've ever got.
We have a daily reprieve contingent upon our
Daily
spiritual
reprieve.
contingent upon our the spiritual maintenance of our program.
Something like that.
Basically, like you can have today if you give yourself completely.
And this, it's something I've been practicing a long time. I just think I'm gonna be dead tomorrow. So what do I want to enjoy today while I still have it?
Live like there is no tomorrow. Oh, whoa. You know that song? Nobody knows that Offspring song. How'd it go? I'm gonna live like there is no tomorrow. Whoa,
You know.
whoa. Here, keep going. I'm gonna hit it real quick.
When you're sick or you fucked up or you think you might be dead tomorrow, the day is so sweet. And I've experienced this. I mean, it's just fucking beautiful. Even if you're in pain, you hear the bird, you see the sky, and you're like, oh my God, what a fucking gift. It's like you're in awe. And it goes away. And then...
yeah, it's like
So
we think
I
that we're
try to
going to
relive
live forever.
What?
Like I think that I'm going to die when I'm like 70. So I have all these years just to fuck off. But like really I should be like, I don't know what I'm
You
going to
don't know.
die.
I mean,
don't
the
know.
freeway's a dangerous place.
The freeway is a dangerous place.
Most of us are going to die in car accidents. Most of us probably will. Yeah.
You guys don't know this?
I don't know if that's true, but a lot of people die in car accidents.
You don't know this.
I don't know that song, no.
Do you remember? Do you remember this album? This album changed my life. Legendary. This album was around when Nirvana came out with Nevermind, and I always loved Nevermind, but for some reason I'm more like I want like that faster shit, you know, and it's like more melodic. Like if you live like there's no tomorrow, but I mean, I think that you kind of have to, like if there really was no tomorrow, like I would like actually like walk out the door right now and go like score some drugs. Or like, I don't know. I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. I'll tell you
and
that
we have
much.
yeah.
Even though this is really awesome, I love doing this, but it's like, I think that we have to kind of adopt that philosophy like to a certain degree, right?
Yeah,
Because
like
if I
tomorrow
really,
we have work to do. We have a shoot tomorrow. Like I'm stressing about that. We got to get
yeah,
shit together.
but I don't think we should stress about it. I think we should like look forward to it and enjoy it. And like, I mean, like imagine if we didn't get to do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like how
so-
badly you would want it. You want it. But that's a really good feeling. The feeling you have, like that's what living is all about. Like you're stressed, but like you're like excited and like you want to like,
Yeah, you
That's how
feel
you grow.
alive. You
Yeah.
need some of that in your life.
yeah. And what, and
else you're
you know what
stagnant.
the funny part is you stress about it, but once we start doing it, you're like, we're stoked.
Yeah.
So I'm always worried about the thing until I'm like doing it.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I walk out on stage, I'm like, fuck yeah. But I'm like worried like all before I get onto the stage. And I think that having had the opportunity to experience that, like I think that's like one of the highest levels of that kind of analogy where like you're worrying about like performing in front of people and like blowing it. But then when you start doing it, it just like all goes away when you're doing
Yeah.
what you love. Like,
Yeah.
like, do you ever feel like that way? Like when you're?
Always, I'm stressed about it, and then once I get to work, I'm like, I have the best job on earth.
Yeah.
What am I tripping on? Why do I even have to stress? I mean, I could do whatever I want. I'm the boss.
Yeah, and
You
he's
know,
like watering. He's like taking care of like plants indoors, and he's still stressed. We all.
Right.
And what about you? Do you feel that? Like,
Well, he sounds like he's got a lot on his plate.
yeah, I almost.
What's the question?
I almost can't. You
You
like?
get
Let's just
stressed?
get real right now. Like, I can't quite figure him out.
That's not the first time
Like, I almost like don't believe. How does he? How do you have so much going on? Like, he came in here the first day and we started doing step work, and he's talking about like, I'm running all these different projects. I'm opening this sober living, and I'm like,
That kept me sober
I
for the
don't
first
know
30
if I
days.
believe you.
Are you lying to us?
No.
He's just like a real entrepreneur, like a thoroughbred entrepreneur.
Jack of all trades, yeah. It's another addiction though. Literally, yeah. Sober living. I'm helping people. In my first 30 days.
But what's the sober living thing?
Well,
I don't-
after meeting with you, I slowed down a little bit on it.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
But what I did in my first 30 days, I was asked to be of service to someone else, and I detoxed them off of alcohol, and that helped keep me sober.
Yeah.
How long did it take to detox them?
He's
Asking for a friend.
He's coming up on, I think, because he relapsed after me. He's coming up on like 20 days now again.
But like, yeah, like what do you mean like by detox?
I have an addictionologist I work with who's a doctor that specializes in addiction, and I detoxed him through, he was drinking a handle of Tito's vodka a day, so you can't just immediately stop that kind of use. So it was an Ativan titration with other medications, Neurontin, and a bunch of other things.
See,
but
right there, that's where I'm like, okay, like he's not bullshitting. Because the shit he just said is like shit.
Gabapentin.
Like, well, whatever.
Yeah, gabapentin.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm on gabapentin.
Do you kind of?
Literally, yeah.
Well, how did you get these drugs?
From the doctor, from
addictions.
an addictionologist.
He gave them to you?
No, prescribed to my client, yeah, and then I provided 24/7 care to the client in home.
In what home?
In the client's home. That's what's cool about the detox program I can bring to someone is that I do it in the comfort of their own home, around the clock, literally every hour. It is a sober coach. Every hour I'm taking blood pressures. We have clonidine on board, so when we get somewhere like 162, like my client got to the point where his blood pressure would get up to like 180.
Do you act?
No.
You can't act. Have you ever tried?
No. Why?
So you're 29.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got like a kind of a dope look. I feel like
Yeah,
he
he's
could
got a
be
look.
the kid if
What
he
do
was
you
like
mean?
5 years younger. No, I always have my eye out for that.
Right.
Because because I'm trying to make a movie called Learning to Lose about a kid who's like basically living with a sober companion or a sober coach or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
My care was literally
I'm a little confused. So you are taking on the responsibility. What if you fuck up and he dies or something?
the doctor was on call 24/7. Literally, like to the point where
Well, that's what Mike says in the trailer of the movie, because Mike did this too. He says, like, if this guy dies on my watch, it's going to be a huge life-changing event.
Huge.
That's you remember that line in the trailer. He just said that in when I was interviewing about the sober companion job that he was doing. Are there things that you're signing, like saying that you're not responsible for the
every single move I make, I have a legal pad that, every blood pressure I take is noted.
and he's giving you consent to take care of him.
Yes, and
But
he's,
you're not a doctor, but you're-
No, he is under the care of the doctor. I am being ran by the doctor.
And you don't need to be like a nurse, or you don't need to have any.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I am just
I mean, the doctor's prescribing this shit
correct
to someone who's trying to detox, and people are doing it with no supervision and dying.
I had to take him to the hospital twice.
So I kind of
That's gnarly, dude.
I literally
handle
I had to take him.
Tito's.
I had to take him twice because his blood pressure would skyrocket, and I'd call the doctor and hey, we're 180 over, huh? Because it's just when you get into like third, fourth day of detox, your blood pressure shoots. It gets really high and it can become deadly, and that's why not only was the client prescribed Ativan, Neurontin, but he was also prescribed Clonidine, and Clonidine is a BP. It controls blood pressure.
Yeah, I did it too at the beach house. I was I don't have any qualifications, but I was the guy, like literally the only person there that was like sober for more than like a week, watching 7 different patients, one of whom I had to go check on in the master bedroom overlooking the beach, overlooking the water. It was $30,000 a month to stay in this room. And I would go into this fool's room. I would wrap the thing around his arm, and I would check his blood pressure.
Yep.
And if it was high, I would have to do what you did. And for people that are detoxing off alcohol, like you could just go in there and check it, and it could just be really high because they're like,
Alcohol's deadly.
Yeah.
It's literally deadly.
What do you?
It's so crazy because sober living is like taking over the shit with people with no licenses, no training.
100%.
But
100%.
But my client is not under my care.
But we're just
he is
saying
under the care of, you know what I mean?
But no, but what Billy's saying,
good salesmanship.
What I'm saying, what Billy's saying is that it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Especially in Malibu, because you're talking about people that are spending $30,000 a month just because it's a house on the beach. And they get to go to yoga, and they eat healthy, and they're going to Erewhon, and the house is nice, and they're going to 1 meeting a day, and that's all they're fucking doing. They're basically just sitting around in this house, going to 1 meeting a day, and they have a chef cooking them like really good meals, and they're encouraged to get a sponsor and do the steps.
I know.
That's it.
I have
I
a
don't think
friend
there's anything
right
wrong
now.
with that.
No, there's.
Like it's chill.
I mean, I'm not saying there's something wrong with it, but it's just crazy that you can make that much money hiring people like
$80,000
me to watch these fools at night. Who I don't like. I have zero qualification. I mean, I would trust me, but like they didn't really. I mean, they're just hiring people. If you're sober, if you meet, you know what I mean. It's just kind of crazy. Like I don't like Liberty House doesn't do that shit. Like Liberty House, like to be like the night manager at Liberty House, you have to have like achieved Liberty status. That's how Liberty House is run. Like they don't fuck around like that. Like good sober livings, like have a specific program, schedule, chores, meeting, like groups, and like different people with different amounts of time are in charge of different things, and you can't do certain chores.
I think it's a fucking racket. I went to sober living and I learned to use heroin there.
They're all different though.
And I paid like I paid like $600 to share a room, and this old pervert from the other room would come in and jerk off over my bed, and I'd wake up with it's like a shit show.
Yeah, well, some of them
shit
are.
show.
Yeah, well, look, but I don't think all of them. But they're not all like that. Like what I'm trying to what I'm explaining is that Liberty House. Whoa. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, no, I the first place I went to was Las Encinitas, and I did speed the first time in my life at this rehab, at this sober living, with this like goth kid. And I immediately called my parents and was like, it was an excuse to get out. I was like, so I just did speed here. Can I leave?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, this is not better than like sleeping on grandma's couch. So I tried it on grandma's couch. But Liberty House, very, very different situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I remember I listened to the podcast with Troy.
It's a fucking miracle, life-saving place that rewires your brain to be accountable, responsible, humble, and you change as a person. Troy is like, it's a miracle that kid can do anything.
Right.
Except for fuck shit up. And you kind of like can still see that in him.
Yeah.
You know
but
what
it's
I mean?
like controlled it.
But it's like
tamed the
he's
beast.
able to, he's able to use all those crazy things that were defects to like his advantage now, like his crazy manic. He's obviously, we all still have flaws, but like Liberty House did something that I don't think any other place could have done. He spent 22 months living at this house.
Did he graduate or he like successfully?
He graduated.
Wow.
I mean, he was working a job for months before his exit plan was approved. He was working 2 jobs, taking the bus to Pink Taco, back, like just like he had little brothers. Like new guys will come and you get assigned a little brother, which means you're now responsible for this guy's fuck ups. If this guy puts his shoes on the carpet, or if he leaves the item, if he gets an item left out, you're writing his words, and you got to go to work, and you got to do your chores. So it just teaches you like responsibility, and life isn't fair. Sometimes you're going to pay the price for something someone else did. It might happen. You need to learn to fucking deal with it, you know? It's
I
crazy.
don't understand why anyone would stick through that.
What other option do they have?
I would have made it for.
They could
more
smoke
than a week,
speed.
probably.
What other option did Troy have?
Well, you can leave, right?
See, here, will you say that again, though? Because I think that's important. I kind of like talking about this.
You couldn't hear it?
Not really.
I find it hard to believe anybody would last in that program.
Yeah, so here's the thing about that program is they strategically and methodically like push you a little further every day. Right? So the first week you're there, it's like, oh, like, you know, you really believe you're not going to be there for longer than a couple weeks. Right? But once you get to a month, they strategically, as a group, once you now have some friends in the house, they start just stay one more month, dude, you know, and then you get one more month, and they're like, dude, just commit to 6 months. We all did it. Like, it's going to be the best thing for you. And I don't know, just slowly you start to see the miracles that are happening in this house, and you hear the testimonials from all the other people that have now become your close friends that you're living with, that are basically your age, and the bonds that you create in this house are so powerful that you don't want to just abandon your friends. They're like your brothers, you know, and you've gone through so much with them, and you've seen some of them overcome crazy like emotional obstacles and get honest about shit that they were holding on to. And it's hard to explain, but it's pretty incredible what happens in that house. I used to go every Thursday just to witness the groups. Just incredible. And I want to do a documentary on the house. Dude, so this is like, that's, yeah, look at you with your glasses on and your boots, like, whoa. He's like showing me footage of the guy he was taking care of.
I was contracted by the family
Yeah.
to take whatever length necessary to keep him sober.
Yeah. So that's like a scene in the movie.
Right.
This is a scene in the movie. Like, this is what I want to make a movie about this. But like in the movie, the person that's trying to get
So
sober.
you just set your phone down and filmed it?
Yeah, because I knew I was going to have to be hands-on with him.
Right.
So I wanted documentation.
Yeah, like show Wickham. Like, this is like good.
I knew.
Well, that's
I was
it.
gonna
Really,
have to
that's
be
it in real
hands-on.
life.
Yeah,
Trip, huh?
and
You could see how inebriated he is.
yeah,
Well, look
and
at him just laying there. You know?
and Mike had footage of this guy, you know, singing karaoke, nodding off, what his room looked like, just clothes just everywhere, and the money, the expensive, like the clothing. The guy was just, you know,
Damn.
his parents were just billionaires, you know, and he was like 45 maybe.
And just just a kid his whole life getting high.
just no teeth, dentures. Like Mike would show me footage of this guy like nodding out, and his teeth were like hanging out of his mouth. Yeah. So I just think it's a great like.
Oh shit, that's so crazy because he's a billionaire. He could fucking have anything, right?
Like we were talking about earlier,
and he's just a junkie.
the money sometimes makes it harder.
Fuck, it's a trip.
Yeah, it's a trip. Like, I definitely think that life is a lot harder for me to live because of like how easy certain things were made for me. Like I kind of was enabled. Like my dad enabled me. So now it's really hard for me to do certain things.
I was just listening to something about that, and I thought of you.
Yeah. So that's a good example of how luxuries can harm you.
How was he enabling? Like what?
Well, I mean, me and my brother lived in Tackaberry. Like we just lived in that house, and we didn't have any parental supervision.
Oh, right.
We had zero. I had a fucking open tab at Winner's Pizza. Okay. And I could like get like my dad would just like give me money if I needed it. I can't really remember how that all worked out. Well, I think I kept like I didn't have to pay for food. I didn't have to pay for rent. And he bought me like a lot of like music equipment, right? So, and I had like, and I was selling weed. So I was able to like use and sell. I was able to keep the habit going by buying it in quantity and selling it to buy more.
Right.
So, but I would always use more than I would sell. So I
No
always,
matter how hard you try.
well, especially towards the end, I would buy like 500 pills and I would just sell like, maybe 100 of them.
Jesus Christ. So you keep 400 for yourself?
They would just disappear. I would just take them every day.
Damn.
No, I've taken trash bags of pills. Like you don't understand.
Oh, like you're mixing shit up, or just
No, just the amount of, I was taking
was it all one drug, or were you like mixing other?
Well, I was just mostly taking Norcos, Oxycontins, or the blue ones are what are the blue ones? No, it's another. It's like another opiate that doesn't work as well as Norco. But I was up to 15 a day.
So what were did you go through like a detox?
Yeah, I went to Liberty House. But if I could mix that with like Xanax, like if I could only get like Valium, Xanax, or Klonopin, I would take those and just take like a swig of like Wild Turkey, and it would just kick it off.
Right.
And I would just be like on some fucking, but like not like that, like just more, because I wasn't like drunk, but the alcohol would just kick in the barbiturate.
Yeah.
It would kick it
the
in.
depressant.
In a way where like you're not remembering a single thing of the whole day, but you're like coherent all day. Just
Right.
acting like off, and just like, it just removes like all inhibitions.
Right.
So like if I saw a hot chick, I'd just walk right up to her and be like, let's fuck. Like just zero, just totally like Superman, like it all just goes away. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying is my dad, there was no, and then if I was hungry, I ordered 2 large pizzas. Everyone give me $5. I'm going to order you guys food. I just found ways to like get by,
Right.
and that fucked me up.
Yeah.
In the same way that this billionaire got everything he ever wanted, he never had to learn anything.
Okay, here's the opposite. I'm just wondering how I'm going to survive, So I'm living in a car.
Yeah.
I'm fucking hungry, but I want to buy drugs. What do? Buy drugs or food? Or what if you don't have any fucking money? Then how do you get your drugs and your food?
What'd you do? How'd you... It was different every day, or?
Well, I would, have jobs here and there, so I'd get a little bit of money, and somebody would take in a bunch of street kids or whatever, and kind of house them. Of course, they're always a weirdo, right?
Right.
But I don't know. Fuck. It's just I had a car, so I had a VW van, so I had somewhere to sleep. So I wasn't as bad as some people,
But you had like connections, right? And there were like people that needed you to get the shit, and you would just like.
No, not too much. I had
that's-
been trying to get sober since I was 13 too, so it's not like I don't know, but it's just I just imagine if someone gave me money and food and housing, and I could go buy large amounts and sell it, and like it's different when you don't have shit,
It's almost better in a way.
And you're not going to fucking rehab. No one's paying for rehab. There's no medical care. There's
Yeah, it's yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely was able to hit a bottom quicker.
How old were you?
21. I tried when I was like 20 and like 19.
So what do you think, Wickham? Are you going to stay sober?
Yeah, just today, and then tomorrow.
Do you have any drugs?
Yeah, I still have the bottle of Jack Daniels in my kitchen. I'm like trying to throw it away, but it's like it makes me feel safe in a fucked up way.
That's called a reservation.
Yeah.
And if you were at Liberty House,
Yeah, I know they would fucking.
if I was a real friend, I would drive you to your house right now and throw everything out. We're worried about you, man. I am, and but I mean, it's cool that he's.
There's nothing else that maybe you forgot about in a drawer or something.
No.
This is the only thing I'm going to ask. Okay, I'm going to ask that before you do something, just call me.
Right.
And just give it. Look, I'm not saying I'm going to be like, oh, I'm coming over, I'm stopping you. Just give it a one phone call. Just give yourself enough 5 minutes. I'm just going to drink, and maybe by the end of the conversation, I'll be like, all right, cool. Do what you need to do, and we'll reconvene tomorrow. And I think even at the very least, you might just feel a little bit better about what you're about to do because you talked to someone else, or maybe that's kind of like one of the things that they say in the program is just like, just call me before you do the thing you're going to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it kind of gives you a chance.
And most of the time that you don't, unless you really want to be sober, then you might.
But I think he really does want to be sober, and I hope that you feel comfortable enough to.
So do you
Yeah.
live by yourself?
I do. Yeah. I live by myself. But like yesterday, like I was jonesing hard.
Yeah.
New word I learned from you.
It's a new word.
That's dope. That's like kind of an old school.
Yeah,
term
yeah. He
for-
taught me what it was.
Like my mom says that a lot.
Yeah,
I was
I was-
jonesing.
What do they say now? Craving?
fiending. I was fiending. I would say I was
fiending.
Like
Okay.
a fiend.
Yeah.
I was fiend.
Oh yeah, I was like fiending hard. Yeah, last night, and I didn't do it. Through the grace of God, I just kept praying.
Hard, right? Like
Oh my
fucking
God,
guttural,
dude.
like.
And I was like crying.
Wow.
Really?
All emotional, and I was just like,
by yourself, dude. Maybe you
sweat.
should sleep here. Well, I don't know. It's not my
Yeah,
house.
no, that's
but
fine. You can crash here anytime. I don't know if you need to get anything tonight, but
yeah, tonight I can't, but
whatever. You already know you
medication.
can, especially now since my wife.
That's crazy, dude. Pat was all pissed off at you, and I guess you had some things to say and all that shit. But now you're both sitting here, and
right.
That's one of the reasons. That's one of the things I fucking wanted to talk about. We can do it next time, but like, I just think that like,
you
I
seem like a different person too. Like you had long hair and everything. Like you seem like a different person.
I've seen and done a lot of shit since then.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a lot, dude.
You
Just
grew up. But I mean, it's a testament to meaningful relationships and the fact that you can have a big falling out with someone and you can mend the relationship.
Fucking you and Troy have been through several of those.
And he's like, I mean, he's literally like my brother. I mean, we've had some of
he's
the-
grown up a lot.
Yeah. And I know that. Like, I think deep down inside, you have to understand that everyone's human and no one's perfect. And it's not like personal, you know, like you were just going, it hurts though, right? It hurts. Even like what we just went through, because like, I was like, it hurt so bad. I was like, God, like I care so much about this person. And like, I felt like our relationship was so meaningful, and to feel like just canceled, that hurt so bad. But he needed to go through what he needed to go through. You were going through whatever you were going through, where it was like you didn't feel like. Do you remember that? Like, who was with me that night? Oleg. Do you remember? You were with me. Remember we went to Sugarfish? And I was driving at Sugarfish, and Billy, I just texted me about the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I was texting him back while I was driving to Sugarfish. Mm-hmm. How fucked up was I? Yeah. Oleg was like, dude. And like, you didn't respond. I wrote like all this stuff. I
Yeah,
was like,
because you gave me some bullshit.
yeah. No, but like it actually, yeah. And when I read it, I was like, fuck, I shouldn't have went into that much detail, but it was so like relevant because
I understand you were really busy and
Yeah,
you
like-
weren't paying attention.
yeah, like all that
But then I thought, is
matters.
that bullshit? Is
No.
that ego? Or is that
it
real?
wasn't bullshit. It was so real because what you said was you posted the podcast, and I was like, oh my God, like I didn't post it. Like these podcasts just like get posted. Kaya that's her job. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it was like, fuck, like I didn't like tell her not to post it. So it just like got posted. And you know what was crazy? It got posted before it was supposed to get posted. There was another podcast that happened before that one that was supposed to go up first. So it kind of hit me.
I thought maybe you did it on purpose.
See, and that's why I wrote what I wrote, because it was true. It was like, and I knew that it sounded like bullshit.
So I just want, before we get off, I want to question these new guys a little bit. Is that
Yeah.
cool? So you have 70 something days, 71 days,
Yeah.
and you've been sober before, but you've been out for a few years.
Yeah, in and out.
In and out of AA, or in and out of
Here,
just
just-
sobriety.
Just make sure that whoever's talking is talking into the mic.
So in and out of AA or in and out of sobriety.
Both in and out of sobriety and AA.
So you've been sober in an AA, step, sponsor, all that shit.
Yeah.
And what? How did you decide on Pat as a sponsor?
I used to think Pat was a douchebag and
Yes!
and a
That's
fucking
so good.
and I just and I followed him because I'm in entertainment, and I respected what he did and the things. I loved his work, but I thought like, just from what I saw, like and I've never even met. I just thought he was a fucking asshole, and then I saw like a change, and I wanted that because I saw a lot of me in him. And I saw him become more spiritual and more open just through the internet to others and new ideas, and that attracted me.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, Billy, but like about a year ago, I kind of you probably remember. Like, I think that I've slowly shifted. I've been leaning. As soon as I started doing a chat with Pat, it was like, all right, this is going to be like me talking about sobriety. I didn't usually talk a lot about that in the first couple years of Ridge, and especially not in Hypercrush. I just thought, oh, you don't really talk about that online because there's this like anonymity thing. And then I went even harder with it. And I was like, I'm just going to film myself, my whole share.
And then I was like, fuck. Then I was like, fuck, this guy's not a douchebag. I'm a fucking douchebag. And we're very
And
similar.
that's actually what
Right.
that's what I love about.
Well, hold on. So so you've known Pat a long time? No. Oh, so you've just been watching him online? Yeah. So you don't actually have a previous relationship?
No, dude, I don't even know. This is like a
internet.
pure, like
Attraction.
yeah, like because of what I've been doing.
And I saw.
I don't know this. fucking guy
I
at all.
saw a fucking shift.
Well,
I
but-
didn't
but-
know that you were sober
Right.
either.
Yeah, see, because I never really talked about that, and that's the thing is
And
like
that
there
attracted
wasn't
me.
really a shift in me, or maybe there was, but like I think I'm always growing and changing, especially working with Billy and going through therapy, but like I just started.
I think douchebag's the wrong word too.
No, I think it's a good word.
It's perfect. Dude. 'Cause it's like he's not afraid to say it, which is nice, right? So
No, I love it. I think it's perfect because Billy talks about this a lot because he knows some people that think the same thing, and I think he thought that same
Well,
thing.
I think he's easily misinterpreted because he looks a certain way, talks a certain way.
Which I'm easily misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Right.
And-
You got the yeah. So.
No, but I think that's a really cool. I love that, and I also think that it's important for me to know that about myself, and I think it's important for me to understand that that's probably one of the reasons it's taking me as long as it's taking me to grow it. But I think it's also just
Whatever you're doing is fucking awesome.
yeah, that's cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But like, I also love the fact that people like love to watch a train wreck, right? And they're like, "Fuck this guy," but I'm still gonna. I don't know why, but I just kind of still want to watch this piece
so
of
crazy.
shit, right? And it forces them to see their own like judgment. And it's like, oh wow, like I'm so judgmental. I love that. I love when that happens to me because I do that all the time.
Remember when I messaged you?
I sum somebody up, and then I realize, wow, like I actually really like when dude shared at primetime, you know, Mbessa. Like, dude, I just like I'm so over when that guy shares, right? But he spoke at one meeting, and I like really liked what he said, and I went up to the podium and I fucking called myself out. I was like, I'm such a fucking asshole. When I saw you get up to the podium, I was like bummed out that you were gonna fucking share, but you fucking laid it down, dog. Were you at the meeting when I did that? And I just think it's important for us to be able to get that honest because we're all fucking doing it.
That was hard for me to message you.
I'm like so glad you did.
That was tough because it was a very humbling experience because I told you that. I was like, I judged a book by its fucking cover.
Yeah, he wrote me like a whole thing. I can't exactly remember what it was, but it was something along the lines of like, yeah, I like what you're doing, and I would love to like get. Did you just? I think he may have just like straight out asked me if I was down to sponsor you, like on the message or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
on the first
something
DM.
that
And I was like,
I just
No
slid up in
foreplay.
that DM. I didn't even take him
Yeah.
out to dinner.
I was like, I literally was like, I think I may have went to your page and I was like, whatever. Like, that's why I think it took so long to start. Yeah, he kept hitting me up.
Can't believe this because I'm so not a digital age person, and like I would never do dating online, nothing. But you guys actually met online.
Bro,
For AA, for
I
sobriety.
just gave Hillary a girl in Philadelphia who she's going to call.
I stayed
That met me online. Dude, I don't understand.
What he had.
Well, get ready, man.
Bro, it's every day, dude. Like, I have people saying shit every day. What's up, Pat? I've been wanting a gold tooth for a really long time. I guess that's not. He's like, did you get your gold tooth from the dentist? I'm like, yeah. This Eric Hayes guy, but like, dude, my brother met his girlfriend from a dating site. So many people are meeting their wives from dating sites, and the internet is such a great. A lot of times when I talk about health and food stuff, a lot of people will respond also. But yeah, man, there's no doubt about it. I'm actually a little bit like kind of like I don't want to say bummed, but I'm a little bit like yeah, I guess you could say I'm a little bit like bummed that you don't trust, like haven't I sent you messages before from people responding to our podcast?
What do you mean bummed? Like that I don't believe in it? Or
Yeah,
it works or
because like I've told you that I've showed you some of the positive responses that I've had from people, and it's like, I think if even just one person gets something from this, it's like worth it. And I've had like so many people.
I guess it's just hard for me to be in your head. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
No, but you don't need to be in my head. You just need to believe what I'm saying, or like read the text from people that are.
Yeah, but here's my judgmental, look at this. So who are all these chumps, and why are they messaging? And
Well, first of all, to write a message.
Sorry.
No.
I guess,
Oh, you're a chump.
No. This is actually really good, I think, for Billy to see this. But see, for him to even message me was really hard, right?
right. It was hard.
So for somebody to message me and not talk shit, which is what most people do, that means that for every one person that's actually sending me a message,
yeah, that means
there's
it really meant something.
100
Okay, I'm starting to
other
get
ones.
it.
That means that for every one person that sends me a message, which happens almost every day, they say, thanks for your honest shares. I really love your thing. That means that like 10 or 20 or 100 other people got something from it
And didn't say anything.
And
Okay.
and you know what? Like, I also want to say, there's this.
Oh no.
There's this one thing. No, I have this cinema playlist that I'm really proud of on my Instagram. If anyone wants to see, like, when I'm watching movies, I have you ever seen my cinema playlist?
Is it like on highlights?
Yeah, it's a highlight, and it's all scenes from shows and movies that I've watched over the past.
You got a steaming glass of Perrier when I feel so much better about myself.
But have you seen You Were Never Really Here?
Bro, this is so good.
Have you seen Success?
Yes. That's when he,
Experiment successful.
crack addict.
I'm interested in becoming a meth head.
I'm interested in
A meth
becoming a
head.
meth head. Oh, Orson Welles. Have you seen this about him talking about?
Who presides over accidents.
Over.
Accidents. That's what I've been trying to say, dog. It's
Yeah.
the accidents. It's like the weird shit. But okay, so there's this quote that Fat Mike says, like, he goes,
Punk rock is not about
"Punk rock is not about success."
success. We would all do this if there was no money.
We would all
Because
do this if
No
there
Effects did it for 8 years with no money.
Because we did it for 8 years with no money. And it's like, that's like this idea of punk rock to me, and like doing something just because you know it's like the fucking right thing to do and you believe in it. And it's like, even if there were no people, this is great. This like helps when people, just so anyone listening to this, like, please comment me because I need the validation really badly. But to be totally honest with you, I'm not going to stop doing this because I just believe that, like, it's my truth. And I believe that when we sit here and we talk about this stuff, it's like there's nothing else that is more important to be talking about. I know that.
True.
And you know that. I know you know that. And we've recently been shook up by some outside stuff, and it's causing us to kind of re-examine stuff and look at stuff, which is good, and be more careful, even though I came out super hot on this one on some sex stuff. But that's just between me and, that's not going to hurt anyone except for maybe my wife. But I mean, at least that's keeping it in the family, But like, yeah, it's that. I think that if you do shit for the right reason, if you adopt that punk rock philosophy of like, we're just gonna fucking do it. Like, these motherfuckers toured in a van eating top ramen for 8 years, and like, as soon as they had a little bit of success, they shit all over K-Rock and they never got radio play. But like 30 years later, they're like the most credible, respectful punk band in the world.
Which is
With No Effects, and he has his own label, and he's like
one of the biggest punk labels.
yeah, they're
Most well respected.
yeah, it's so much cooler to me.
They're punk gods.
Yeah, it's so much cooler to me. And also I've been reading, a lot of like, Gary Vee talks about it, and this guy who I follow, Bob Lefsetz, writes articles about it a lot now, and it's like the slow road, when you build it slow, it's slower, but you get real. It's like a real thing. Like when you blow up overnight because of like some bullshit, you lose it really quickly. And it's like bands like, Fish or The Dead or No Effects or, certain, groups or artists like Suicide Boys, or it's like they're not trying to like win real quick. They're like doing it because it's like that punk rock shit, it's like lifers, fans for life, because what you're doing is coming from a place of like pure authenticity. But when it comes from that kind of a place and you're not thinking about like, appealing to everyone, you're going to turn a lot of people off at first, but you're going to get like real motherfuckers. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
like Harmony Korine, Larry Clark,
Yeah, you just got to stay
Vincent
real.
Gallo, Gus Van Sant, Oliver Stone. I mean, the thing about Kurt Cobain is it happened on accident to him, and he killed himself.
Right.
Because he didn't like want it to happen that way. I feel like he was on some punk rock shit, and when he blew like that, he was like, fuck, dude, like this is like not like the way I wanted it to be, and now I'm so much is expected of me, and I'm like this pop star, and all my core fans are like talking shit about me because I have all this success. And that's another thing about people is they hate
I
on
bet you it's not even that. I think the poor guy was just a drug addict like us.
Yeah,
for
he
sure.
was,
But his mind was telling him those things, even though they were bullshit.
But you know how every one of us said we wanted to die? Well, you didn't say it, but we get to that suicide point. We've all been there.
I was
Right.
there.
That's the rock bottom.
I was there, and you're right. It was the heroin. I mean, there's some controversy as to whether or not Courtney hired someone to kill him.
I don't know. For some reason, I really like him. I mean, I haven't even heard all his albums, but the music that I hear from him, it just has such emotion. Just brings something out of me. And
It's incredible.
I'm not a big music guy. Like you guys say all these bands and shit. I have no fucking idea. Maybe I've heard of them, but like I liked bands like the Subhumans. I fucking love the Subhumans.
Really?
And
That's
Primus
punk rock, bro.
and Black Sabbath and like
Primus is. You would love.
I love
Primus.
But
That's like
they're
you,
so weird and they suck.
That's
I mean,
like you through
they
and
don't
through.
suck, but
I can't believe you just said that. Sailing the Seven Seas of Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Primus is one of the most original, authentic, unique. And you say they suck, but they actually don't suck.
they're really good musicians. But a
Yeah.
lot of people, like my roommate said, I've never heard such a terrible band.
Right. Well, because that's what I'm saying is they have dieharders.
Like Weezer.
Well, Weezer's incredible. You can't
Some
deny.
people, do you remember back in the day?
But not like Primus. Primus is like, my Jerry was a race car driver. This is a weird like bass, fucking like hick like bass. What's the bass player's name in Primus?
Claypool.
Is it Les Claypool? Les Claypool? Yeah. So Les Claypool actually started a band called Oysterhead with the lead singer of Fish, and the drummer of The Police. It's crazy, bro. I think you really. I'm gonna send it to you after this. It's called Oysterhead, and
I just love Les Claypool. He's such a. I think he's like some kind of genius or something,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
But he's not all fucked up. He didn't. I thought he was a tweaker or something, but I don't. He
No,
seems
he's
okay.
a fucking genius. Hey,
Seems all right.
did you know I've been watching Spartacus, and do you know what a Primus is? No. I never knew this, but I'm watching Spartacus. This show's fucking amazing. Have you guys ever seen it?
This podcast been like 3 or 4 hours, or
Yeah, we can wrap it up soon, but this show, I would recommend anyone that's listening to this podcast to watch this show. But a Primus is like the final event in the gladiator arena. And all the gladiators like wanted to be in the Primus. And I never knew what that word meant. And I actually would really like to get a Primus shirt. I think that'd be fucking dope. Cause like no one rocks. What?
It says Primus sucks with that mosquito.
Ooh, yeah. Damn, what happened to them? Yeah, I want to listen to them again. But yeah, that's what Primus means. And the Spartacus is really cool. The star of Spartacus, died of lymphoma like after the first season. This guy is fucking amazing, bro. He's like,
Did they recast?
yeah,
for the second.
They went back to like before. The second season's pretty good too, but the first
So
season is,
his character is still there.
I mean,
Someone else
like, do you
plays him.
realize what Spartacus did? Like, do you understand who that was?
No.
He was, yeah, he was captured and he became a gladiator. And gladiators were slaves that were forced to fight in the arena.
Yeah.
And it was like a fucking, like, just entertainment for like the people and the rich kings and queens and whatever.
Yeah.
And they would just watch people just slaughter each other. And they're like, blood, like we want blood. Blood is a really common theme in like old times. It's kind of weird when you think about how much they use that word and sacrificing blood and all this stuff. But yeah, so Spartacus was like, this is not like dope. Like we're
Right.
just like slave. Like there's more to life than just glory in the arena. Like I love my wife. I'm like a person, and everyone, you know, they brainwashed these gladiators to think that like glory in the arena was like the highest level of, you know, anything you could ever want. And he like showed them that these people were just like using them, and he led the charge of this like, I mean,
Oh, so this is real.
yeah,
This is
bro.
all, I didn't know that.
And they're
I
like
didn't know the show was real.
30 like badass fucking like gladiators, like scrappers, like super fit, like fools that would kick the shit out of the king. They all united and were like, fuck this shit. And they just slaughtered fucking everyone.
That's sick.
And just like, and the last scene is just like him like coming out of the, but like what leads up to that is really, really cool. And like the dynamics, the relationships between each gladiator and him just having this kind of like more like gentle, like chill, like he's just a dope character.
Yeah, but the real life story is crazy because he had everything. He finally made it. He was a star. All, you know, thousands of girls
Yeah.
lusting over him.
Right. Yeah.
And then he gets cancer. Like, he's a young, fit guy.
No. Oh, you're saying
You're the Spartacus, the character.
the actor.
The actor.
Oh, right.
I mean,
yeah,
what
yeah.
a crazy story. What a sad, crazy story.
No, but yeah, it's funny because in the show he also becomes famous, right? He becomes the most famous, most successful gladiator of all time. He's winning everything, and he's like this superstar. And then
he rejects it all.
Yeah,
That's sick.
But it's also really crazy when you watch the show because this dude died. And it's kind of tragic. And he's like this super good looking, like dope actor. He like, you know, embodies all the same things that someone like Leo or Brad Pitt. He's like, you know, he reminds me kind of Uhtred, The Last Kingdom. It's a really good show too. But Wickham's yawning. Jordan's like falling asleep. I'm fucking ranting. I think this was a really, really good one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Thanks.
But you guys stay sober, you know, because
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of important to have new people's the lifeblood, and it's so fucking hard, dude. So your mind.
Can they get your number?
Sure, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We can all just stay in touch and